Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like these. Now, let's get into today's story video.
I, 26 female, opened my husband's, 32 male, Snapchat and it was a very explicit picture and caption from a girl. He's sitting not 20 feet from me and I don't know how to handle this. The title pretty much says it all. Throwaway because my hubby is a Reddit user. He's most likely on it right now. Here we go. I've been married to my hubby for 1.5 years, and we've been together for 5. I've never questioned his loyalty. He's fantastic. I felt he was really brilliant, witty, beautiful, and loyal. He's never given me cause to be skeptical of him. I found it weird that he downloaded Snapchat. He's not a major social media user. I have one, but I don't use it very often. We seldom ever snap at each other. He said that his pals were quite engaged and that he preferred it over Facebook. As I previously said, I've never had cause to doubt him. So I didn't think anything of it. My spouse went in the bathroom this morning and left his phone on my nightstand. I was half asleep when his phone began to beep, waking me up. For SMS messages, we both used the same phone and ringtone. In my half-asleep condition, not understanding that he had placed his phone on my nightstand for whatever reason, I mistook it for my phone. I didn't even see his black phone cover, mine is green, so I glanced at who had texted. "Mom," it said. Okay, my mom texted me, I'll ignore it till I'm awake. But there was a Snapchat notice below. Someone called Roxy took this photo. I was thinking, who the heck is Roxy, and why is she Snapchatting with me? When I opened it, there was an image of a cat on it. And not the sort with 4 legs and a tail that meows. "I want your tongue inside me again," the caption said. Now, I instantly assumed that it was an error. But I was awake now, having been startled awake by a vulva. I suddenly realized that I was looking at my husband's phone. I began sweating and felt like I was going to puke on the bed. I checked his Snapchat contacts, and she has a yellow heart next to her name. I checked up on what it means, and it means best pals. I'm afraid I'm going to become ill. I didn't do any further snooping since I already knew what I'd discover. I just don't understand how he managed to pull this off. We're content. I assumed we were content. At the very least, we have 4 times a week. The real kicker is this: our first kid is nearly 12 weeks pregnant, and I'm almost 12 weeks pregnant. He's about 20 feet away from the chair, and I'm at a loss for words to address him. How do I say what has to be said? Is it possible that I'm overreacting or misinterpreting the situation? I'm devastated and don't know what to do. Update 1, I can feel it from where I am. Thank you so much. It amazes me that strangers care so much about my kid and myself. I am returning the love to each and every one of you. So, the spouse is aware that something is wrong. I'm not sure whether he noticed that I opened a Snapchat from Roxy and is terrified of what I saw and is hesitant to bring it up, or if he's completely oblivious and can simply see I'm unhappy about something. Every hour, he asks me whether I'm all right or if anything is wrong. I told him my sister was having a difficult day. Ironically, she had just broken up with her boyfriend. Why? He deceived us. I was going to her house for supper, I live in the Pacific time zone, and to spend the night with her. I've arrived. My sister is 20 and a whiz at the social networking stuff. She stalked his Facebook to see if she could find this Roxy person. She went through his friends' pals list. We had discovered her. At least, I'm rather certain about it. I couldn't see her face on Snapchat. Her was taking up too much space on the screen. She is Facebook friends with a close friend of my husband's. She works as a receptionist at a legal business owned by a friend of my husband's. My spouse works a few blocks away from the legal practice and often swings by for lunch with a buddy. That explains how they met. I am still working on a confrontation strategy, attempting to gather as much information as possible beforehand. My sister and I both want to burn his life down, but I'm going to deal with it in the most mature manner possible so that I can walk away from him with my head held high and be a worthy role model to my baby daughter. I'm not sure if it's a girl, just a feeling. Is this good news? My uncle works as a lawyer. He deals with divorces most of the time. I've already emailed him and asked if we might talk about some possible legal difficulties. I haven't specified what they are yet, but it seems like something I should do in person at our meeting. I told him it was crucial since we had a meeting scheduled for tomorrow morning. I'll try to keep you updated as much as possible, and thank you all again from the bottom of my heart, internet strangers. Update 2, so, the husband cheated. He's been since maybe 2 weeks before last Christmas, he claims. I was very calm when confronting him and took the advice many of you gave me by telling him that he needed to explain to me who Roxy is and why she is his best friend on Snapchat. His face gave him away immediately, but he still tried to lie to me at first. He said that she works with his friend and they met when he invited her out to lunch with the two of them. At first, he claimed he had only met her about 2 months ago. He said that they're best friends because he doesn't receive many Snapchats from others and she is extremely active on the app. He said she just sends randoms and is really into fitness, so she sends a lot of inspirational snaps on being healthy and living a better life. He said that every once in a while, he'll send her something back, like a picture of a cheeseburger or something, just to tease her about her level of health consciousness. First, I asked why he didn't just tell me about her. He said he didn't even think about it because she's just an acquaintance, not even a friend. Then I asked if he'd ever received anything even remotely inappropriate from her. He answered with, "Not on purpose." I'm assuming he went with that because he knew I opened that Snapchat and he probably knew it was a bad one. I inquired as to what not on purpose meant. He got very defensive. He started raising his voice and saying he doesn't need to explain what that means, that sometimes people accidentally send the wrong Snapchats to the wrong people. Then he had the nerve to say something along the lines of, "I feel like I'm on trial here. People warned me that you'd get crazy when you're pregnant, but I never thought it'd be this bad." Now, as some of you mentioned in my last post, it seems amazing that I'm able to keep such a level-headed attitude. That is because I was raised by a mother who always told me that you could never accomplish anything with anger. That you can be emotional, passionate, upset, etc. without ever raising your voice. Messages received quietly and concisely are just as loud and clear as messages received through yelling and screaming. That is how I have lived my life for 26 years, with the exception of just a few blow-ups. I am human. This moment was an exception. I didn't exactly yell and scream, but I became furious. For him to try to blame this on me being pregnant? How unoriginal and offensive. Long story short, he said he'd never seen me this crazy before and I told him that I'd never seen a picture of another girl's on my husband's Snapchat before. He came back with that I shouldn't have looked at his Snapchat. I came back with that it was an accident, but even if it hadn't been, there shouldn't be any reason for him to be receiving Snapchats like that for me to see, accidentally or not, in the first place. I told him that I may be pregnant, but I'm also an intelligent person and I am his wife, so I knew he was lying and I deserved to know the truth. I asked if I could see his text messages to see if he'd been texting Roxy. He said sure. No messages. Then I asked to see his Facebook messages. He looked like a kid caught with his hand in the cookie jar. He told me no. I asked why. He finally broke down and started to cry. Told me he couldn't let me see the messages because they would hurt me. Because they were inappropriate. Then it all came out. They screwed into the backseat of her car the first night they met. This is already long, so I'll spare you all the details. But it's been an ongoing affair for months. No, they did not always use protection. Although I was recently screened for STIs, I'll be getting checked again in light of this information. My uncle already assured me that if he was unfaithful, we would cream him in court. Really, the only thing I'm willing to fight him tooth and nail for is our home. I put a lot of effort and money into making this home my dream space. I won't be seeking spousal support, but I will seek child support. I'm obviously heartbroken and told him to go stay in a hotel or with Roxy for all I cared. I confronted him last night. My mom and sister stayed with me last night and let me all over them for hours. Right now I'm sort of numb, but I'm also thinking very clearly. I know what my next 10 moves are and I feel supported and secure in my decision to leave him and keep my baby. A few things I just wanted to clarify. My husband is not a lawyer, his good friend is. There was some concern about my success in court if my husband is a lawyer. His friend is in environmental law, so, while I'm sure he can provide some advice, he will not be my husband's divorce lawyer. There were suggestions of me terminating my pregnancy. I fully support the right to choose and I would probably terminate the pregnancy if I was in a different financial position and lacked a support system. However, I work as a marketing manager for a large company. Not only does this allow me the privilege of working from home about 50% of the time, but it also grants me financial independence. I do not rely on my husband for money, and I really never have. He works in tech, so, while he makes a good salary, I will have no need for spousal support. I have a phenomenal support system. This baby will be loved so dearly by so many. Yes, I will have to deal with my husband for the rest of my life if I have this child, and it will make future relationships more difficult for me, but it is worth it. I've wanted this baby since day one and I am her mother, which means that I am strong enough to raise her alone because I have to be strong enough. Here's to hoping for a speedy divorce. I'm ready to be done with this marriage. Which is crazy because just a few days ago, I thought my life was as close to perfect as you could get. Update 3, I know it has been only a short time since I posted this update, but I need to tell you all how amazing all of you are. Wow, this much support is just wow. I wish I could reply to all of your comments and messages, but because of the volume, I'm just going to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to each and every one of you who read my posts, who commented, thought of me, wished my baby and me the best, messaged me, and anything else. I am currently at my parents' condo, sitting outside at their pool, sunbathing my little baby bump and reading each and every one of your amazing and empowering comments. I just want you all to have that image, that you have made me happy and content at a time when I am short on both. This is proof that love does exist, even if it doesn't within my, now over, relationship. And that is a powerful thing. Love to you all. Update 4, I was going to post more details on what happened during the confrontation with my husband, etc., but then I decided against it. I should keep some details private. It's likely my husband has seen this post. I will leave you with this. My dad and I were up late talking last night, and, as usual, he had the perfect thing to say to me. He told me that weak people are afraid of strong people. He told me to keep on terrifying the weak ones. That way, the only people who won't fear you are the bravest, strongest people, and those are the people who are worthy of you. Then he said, my husband is a spineless who couldn't kick it with the strongest woman in the world. I just thought I'd leave you with that and encourage everyone to be terrified by being strong and not standing for nonsense. This is the last time I will post on the matter. I have a lot ahead of me with everything and will probably go quiet on Reddit for a while. Time to get ready for court and to be terrified. Smile. Thank you again. Love to all of you and best wishes.